Hey everyone, welcome back to 5-Day Crypto. My name is Chase. Today we're going to look at Bitcoin against Ethereum or ETH BTC. So we're starting off on the weekly chart here. We have our 21-week exponential moving average, which usually defines the bulls and the bears, right? Below it, not quite going to get a whole lot of price action to the positive upside. Above it, that's when your big moves can start. So the 21-week EMA, and then you might notice this big trend line. We'll get to that in just a moment. But we're battling kind of this 21-week right now. Ethereum Bitcoin tends to not respect this line quite as much as an individual coin against the US dollar. 21-week EMA on the US dollar tends to be, lots of information and tends to be the levels of support. But nonetheless, it is a bullish sign that we are above it. It's not so important, as you can see, that if you go below the 21-week. So maybe for the ETH BTC valuation, this isn't such a great indicator for levels. However, what is a good indicator for levels is said trend line that we've just spoken of. So if we remove our moving average and just look at just the plain naked chart, sometimes you can get the most information out of this. Now look at this. This is a bullish pattern we're forming up here. And you might wonder how long of a trend line this is. Is it several weeks? Is it a months? Is it years? Years. How many years? I'm glad you asked. Let's keep scrolling back and see how long this trend line has been in play. So we have this drawn back to late 2016, where Ethereum started its massive rally against Bitcoin and made its actual all-time high, not at the peak of the last bull run in 2017, but halfway through it even. So about 0.15 valuation against Bitcoin. I wonder what Ethereum will be valued in US dollars if we ever got back to that said value, 0.15. Well, let's go out on a limb here. Let's say we make a nice break to this, right? Because this looks like a pretty bullish setup, right? We got kind of our flat tops here. Maybe it takes a little bit longer, right? Maybe we wiggle or waggle our way up to December and then make our breakout. Historically speaking, look back in December's and going into Q1 for the Ethereum Bitcoin valuation. We've talked about this before, right? The past 6 years, buying in December, going into Q1 of the next year has worked out quite well. Maybe we're gearing up to do that exact same thing yet again. So here is that same trend line, relatively untouched by my shaky hands here. So here's 2022. So do we break out in the next couple weeks against Bitcoin? Well, maybe, but let's get back to that valuation. What would that be if we make it back to all-time highs? Because I know you're wondering what the hell that price would be. It's just shy of, obviously it's going to depend on what Bitcoin's valuation is, right? So let's just play pretend and say Bitcoin's at $150,000, right? And Ethereum happens to get back to this level. So we make it up to here. Bitcoin's 150K. What would Ethereum's price be valued at in US dollars? Well, you just take that 150K, multiply it by whatever price you see over here. So in this case, for round numbers, 0.15, that total would be about $23,000 in USD. So if we get back to all-time highs, 23K would be pretty amazing in US dollars, but you should probably try to get used to just accumulating or valuing your portfolio, your Ethereum, your whatever altcoin in terms of Bitcoin, because that's the future. Don't compare your Blu-ray or your digital media in VHS, right? I feel like that's what you're doing when you're looking at USD. Compare your crypto to Bitcoin. That's it. So what else was we going to talk about? Oh yeah, I wanted to show you this one thing. Check this out. So put it on the monthly scale. Let's look at this. This is pretty fascinating. Are you ready? Okay, let me zoom in here because we're getting to micro machines here. So we can remove the trend lines here because that's not important anymore. What do we notice about this candle? Well, yeah, that's a bullish candle so far. It's October. There are, going back all the way to 2015, October included, there are 0 green October candles for Ethereum Bitcoin. we're in uncharted territory. Now, I know we have 3 days to close this monthly candle. I would love to turn green. This would signify, in my eyes, that Ethereum might be trying to make a run at Bitcoin market cap this run. It's never been done. We've never printed a green October monthly candle for the ETH BTC pair. This would be a sign of the times, uncharted territory, new beginnings. Look at it. Every Q4 will usually bleed against Bitcoin for Ethereum. Look at that. Bleed against Bitcoin. Going into Q4 again. Bleed against Bitcoin. Bleed against Bitcoin. Bleed against Bitcoin. Bleed against Bitcoin. We thought we were going to, but maybe Ethereum is fighting back this time. And maybe the tides are turning a little bit towards the altcoins. The king of the alts, I like to call Ethereum.